is a hamster hopped up on Adderall running on a wheel. That's it. You literally have for brains.
Then they saw the movie, went, holy we can do this. We can put the poor people in the stacks.
Why do we want to recreate the drudgery and mundanity of everyday life in virtual reality? You know what I mean? At least give me some anime. Games weren't coming out quick enough because of the turmoil you created at a company that you can't run. You piece of
Hello and welcome to the breakdown for January 19th, 2022. Another Wednesday. I'm Do Not Peaks, Sir Scoots. I'm joined by Uber Shouts, Mitch Leslie, and the big TV again, sir, from California through the magic of Bitfire Transmission and Firebridge. How the hell are you this Wednesday, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, thank you. We still suit our lockdown because California's kind of going nutty on the old cases here, you know, can't be too careful. So for those newcomers, normally I'd be sat there in the flesh next to Scott, and hopefully I'll be there again in the flesh soon. But right now I'm stuck in a fucking box with all you bastards. So God help me. Good to be back though, Scott. We've got plenty to talk about this week.
Yeah, and again, better safe than sorry. And Arizona, much like California, maybe not being so smart sometimes. So better on both sides to be safe. Yeah, lots to talk about today. DMCA, Poki versus Ninja battle, Microsoft swooping down, saving, buying, whatever you want to call it, Activision Blizzard, and maybe in the most important news of the week, you, Mitch Leslie.
It's not the most important news. It's not. But
let's talk about it.
Talk about it if you want.
Let's talk about Achievement Unblocked, your new hit, soon-to-be hit show. You were teasing me about this. We talked a little about some of the production stuff. You were doing the sizzle reel. What is this? Tell us what you're doing.
It's because I got stuck in Arizona that night. I had to take a flight direct to like LA to go to set to film the promo material for this show. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was like that because we couldn't get in because of the fog or some nonsense. Anyway, it's a television show. I don't know where it's airing. I don't know if it's been sold to any networks. Didn't really ask, but you know, someone reached out to an esports commentator to host on a TV show. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll give this a crack. Essentially, it's a competition series for game developers. The people that are putting up the funding for it did develop not a great time to talk about blockchain. I know I'm not going to talk your ear off about it here, but it's called the Internet Computer. Pretty ridiculous name for a blockchain network. But basically, the game developers will be, you know, fighting for, you know, like $1 million, I think, in that final round to fund their dream game. Overall, it's $10 million being put up. I think MasterChef, but for video games, I guess. And yeah, I think the games will be judged on a bunch of different factors. One of them, just to be clear, will be how it interfaces with Definity's blockchain protocol called the Internet Computer, which is a optimized proof of stake blockchain that doesn't fuck the environment like, you know, Ethereum or Bitcoin does. But there's me. This fucking took ages to film, by the way. But I mean, the people behind me are actual actors, right? Unlike yourself, who's just a fucking a dickhead getting paid money and talk about video games most of the time. So I was starstruck by these guys. I didn't know these actors, but I was like, oh, they are real actors? And then old mate Dave on the couch there messed up his line 6 times right at the end, forcing us to run the whole thing multiple times, just as I was feeling like I was getting it. But anyway, look, I'm thrilled to be on a TV show. I don't know if it's going to appeal to sort of to everyone. I don't know if it's what network it's going to be on. Don't know any of that stuff. But looking forward to working with Definity Foundation as well. Big shout out to United Esports for giving me a chance to do something a little different, and hopefully I can bring some value.
Yeah, really neat. A couple things. First, let's talk about the commercial. I think it's a really neat, obviously, the way they shot it. It's all one walking take you're doing. So like you said, if you screw up at the end, you got to redo it over and over and over. So really kind of a neat, memey, funny little commercial you all did, this little sizzle for it. So like you said, probably a pain in the ass to film. But Jason brought up a good point when we were chatting about it. And, you know, it seems like so many of these pundits, evangelists that are all about games and blockchain and crypto all uniting, they're all really beating the hammer on the existing IPs, the existing game companies converting or, you know, doing something with the stuff that's already out there. This is really cool because the company's dangling a carrot to a new set of developers to build something new and different, again, geared towards blockchain. But again, it's not like you're asking, you know, a AAA company to change your favorite game so you can move Master, Chief from one to the other.
Or
So it's kind of neat.
asking game developers when they're gonna fractionalize the game development studio and sell it off to people to form NFTs. No, yes. So basically, you can't really do games on Ethereum, for example, which is one of the ones fucking up the environment. Definitely not the Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's not made for that anyway. It's store of value because the block time's too long. So just like making any additions, changes, any sort of data going back and forth, it has to be on a short block time. So that's the idea here. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, Scott, if it's not blockchain, that the Divinity Foundation will be going and giving $10 million to people doing any fucking game dev. I think the point is that they want to try and see if they can make something happen here, and I guess that's fine. I think that right now it's a pretty bad time to be having conversations on Twitter and stuff about NFTs, especially. And that's a derivative of blockchain technology, right? So some people, I had people that that I'm on good terms with that are going, it's a real fucking shame that this is on blockchain, but like, I guess good for you. And I'm like, well, all right, fair enough. Like, I can't understand it, but again, I think there's some nuances about the blockchain network that we're working on here and a few other things. Are you getting sick of hearing that word? I know I am. But, it's gonna be a good show. I'm gonna make it a good fucking show, Scott, and then I'm gonna force people to watch it. It's gonna be great.
Well, we have a couple questions. Technically, can do not peak pitch, or because we hire you to do this show, are we fucked some legal way? Because I need to come up with the $1 million game to then take that money and finish the down payment on crypto land parcel that I bought, right? Like I need to rob Peter to pay Paul on the crypto island
that
shit.
That could be our game studio. We could live in the crypto land of hills and make the game there.
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God. We could film season 2 from there.
Palm trees.
What if we film season 2 from there of the show? Because this is a reality show too. Let's go back to the show a little bit. Reality show meets contest, meets crypto, blockchain gaming, right?
I'm like fucking Gordon Ramsay, except I don't know anything about game dev. You know what I mean? No, I mean, ideally, I think, I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of American TV, but I think like MasterChef, where like there's a host there. They're not necessarily like a chef, right? But they're just there like fucking being a nuisance, you know what I mean? Or, trying to tell a bit of the story. So I imagine that's what my role is going to be like. I've only filmed the promo material so far, so we haven't even done pilot yet, but
I mean, you usually
that's
you probably have a host and a couple experts, right, that you would lean into and something like that on cooking shows, etc. So. One thing that reminds me of, because we've been thinking about it a lot and how, like, obviously we use Unreal here in our studio. We have an XR stage. This is all a beautiful Unreal world. Unreal and Epic have done a very similar thing the last couple years with their mega grant system for production companies and other people in the virtual world that are using the Unreal Engine not to make your standard video game, but to do different stuff, production stuff, crazy stuff like that. And they're giving away millions and millions of dollars in these mega grants to, again, additive to the ecosystem that's using their products. So kind of a neat thing as well. Anyway, made me think of that same kind of, it's additive. It doesn't hurt anyone what these guys are doing with their blockchain and their money spent.
Right. Look, again, like, I think like I'm watching a lot of game devs right now trying to like create play to earn video games, right? And they're just so stuck on this idea. And frankly, like, I don't know if that's really necessary. You know what I mean? This does go back to our conversation about like, why do people want NFTs to do these things that are already being done quite happily with video games? I guess I understand that my $20,000 investment across the course of my entire life on microtransactions, it would be nice if that were transferable, but I knew what I was getting myself into in the first place. So, like, I'll be clear, like, I don't necessarily see why there needs to be a play to earn genre surrounded with the concept of NFTs and stuff like that. But again, this show is about game dev, and they will be judged on how they interface with the internet computer blockchain. I don't know how that will work, but our devs are encouraged to use Unreal and Unity and stuff like that as well. So a huge part of this is to make a good game, and hopefully that is the focus for our competitors as well on doing that. And I think it'll be fun. I think I'm going to learn a lot about game dev, and hopefully, Scott, I'm going to learn how to fucking host a TV show.
I think you already know how to do that. I often say that those that have learned in front of esports cameras can easily do it in front of TV cameras. You just have to not swear.
I hope you're right, mate.
And get used to maybe reading something more scripted than off the wall. All right, so congratulations, by the way. That is really cool. So glad to see you able to finally announce it. Our first I guess, kind of bigger story. We said we would probably talk about DMCA every week for a while through a series of stories we've hit. By the way, if you're just joining us from the front page of Twitch, thank you very much for joining. If you want to give us a follow, that'd be great. We do this every Wednesday. We also do a Valorant show every Tuesday. Mitch hosts that with Vansili and Mitchman. That's Tuesdays. Anyway, let's get into this one. So
yeah, if by the end of this episode you've decided you haven't heard enough C words, you can tune in on Tuesdays as well, Scott. Anyway, I don't want to steal your thunder. Let's talk about DMCA. Again.
All right. So this is maybe, I don't know, we haven't had any news since this, and this happened early in the week. So maybe we'll get by next week without any news. Final maybe wrap up to the React saga of Toast and Pokey and everybody else streaming all sorts of stuff, XQC, that they probably shouldn't have streamed. Copyright material, MasterChef, Lord of the Rings, Airbender, Naruto, Death Note, they were all doing it. So, bringing you up to speed, where we last left our story, Disguised Toast had been banned. But he says this when he gets banned. See you in a month. Last week we talked on the show. It actually ended up being 48 hours, just like every other 2-day DMCA flag ban. So he served out his 48 hours, and then he comes back and through a series of streams kind of explains to chat what the hell he was doing. And the boy was playing 5D chess with all of us. Let's go ahead and run this video, and then we'll kind of catch you all up with what led to this, because he kind of explains his actions.
And that's one of the things I want to highlight when we set out to do this. We said we wanted to push this DMCA React content to the breaking point. And I think that has been achieved at this point. Everyone's talking about it. Gaming news sites are talking about it. YouTubers are talking about it. Everyone on Twitter is talking about it. And that is for the better, because people have been doing this for years.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, this was one of the possibilities, Scott, that you and I postulated on. I mean, first of all, if Toast wanted to get people talking about it, it worked. I guess, fuck me, right? I guess we walked right into that trap, even though that's what we do on the show. We find shit to talk about. So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship, Toast. I'm like the fucking Vegemite to your toast, homie, if you want to look at it that way. But we suspected, Scott, they might be trying to prove a point by going this far, because it just didn't make a lot of sense. We talked about trans fucking protecting his tweets, saying it didn't make any sense that Pokey was doing this. I think Toast also pointed out that Pokey got slammed when she got DMCA'd, and then no one, went at him. He wanted to point out the inherent sort of sexism and the sort of the difference in the contrast, rather, in community reaction between the two cases. And as far as we understand, he organized to get himself DMCA struck. So he, I guess, dissatisfied with the reaction that he prompted by, pushing the React content to the limit, tried to get himself struck, because it was said, Scott, that Lily Pichu was the one that struck him, but she actually denied that. So yeah, still not too clear on the specifics here, but because apparently, Scott, he played one of her songs on the stream.
Yeah, because there's an earlier clip of him basically explaining, hey, this is what I did. I played one of Lily's songs. I then told her to strike me so that she wouldn't get in trouble, because she owns the song. So technically it's a legal strike, even though we're mates. And then I get a legal strike against me, so I'm not faking it. But then he says all this, and then she comes out and goes, that didn't happen. I didn't actually do it. So then the word on the street is possibly that he self-striked. To again, the idea is, because he has a clip where he's like, I started watching Naruto and had no idea I was going to get 100 episodes in and no one was going to do anything to me. Then I went to Death Note and no one did anything to me. Then Pokey starts doing Airbender. Nothing happens to her. And then he goes, and then some guy streamed Lord of the Rings and nothing happened to him. Some guy tweeted him like, what the fuck? I'm some guy?
Yeah, fuck. I mean, Rich Campbell makes out with one of the most famous porn stars in the United States on stream and still is some
Some guy.
Get fucked, Rich.
Yeah. And so,
Okay.
like, if that was his plan to, I'm going to do this, and one of us, I'll get tagged real quick. I didn't get tagged. So, who knows where the strike really came from? Because it was legit. He was really banned for 48 hours. So, funny shit. And I haven't paid much attention. I know the story has definitely died down, but I don't know if the reacting has died down. Are people fucking man silly? Are people respect? You're right. Respect to Toast. Respect Heart to Toast. Are people still doing it? Is everyone doing Master Chef still? Because obviously, Gordon jumped in and went, knock this shit off. Like, what are you all doing?
No, they're still doing it as far as I understand.
Okay.
I think that's still happening. And I guess, Toast is revealing maybe a little bit of, there might be some syndication between top streamers. It seems like, from what Toast is saying, that he's a little disgruntled that people have been doing this in the past and getting away with it. So now he's trying to shine a light on it by engaging in this same behavior, but giving it a lot more exposure. So it appears, we can only speculate on what his real intentions are. It appears that he's trying to get this practice outlawed and get people's eyes on Twitch. This could be some like,
is he the hero?
YouTube undercover trying to YouTube paying Twitch streamers to watch DMCA or copyrighted content on Twitch to get Twitch fucked over, then allowing YouTube to assume their role as the rightful overlord of streaming content on the internet. It goes deep. This could go deep. I'm like that crazed guy with the fucking, with all the images behind me with like all the string attached between. I don't know. I'm trying to describe a meme. I'm a Thuma, by the way.
We were talking about a tinfoil hat segment, and you're describing it to a T. You'd be putting a hat on right about now for this segment.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. Listen, it could be that, and if I'm wrong, then that's fine. At least I don't feel like I got outsmarted. I just got outdumbed by these guys, and they just don't have a good reason. So people are talking about it. So good job, Toast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what?
And obviously, and now what? And in the way the strike system works, if he plays it smart, like that ban strike goes away, right? Like you get 3 strikes and then you get hit with a real ban from Twitch, but that's within a window. So there is like a statute of limitations on each strike. It's not like for the rest of your life, you only get 3 copyright strikes. So, because he's risking that, right? So, but here's the weird part. So if he self-struck himself, and that's legit, remember, your deleted content is really not your deleted content. So if someone did decide, you know what, I'm Naruto, whoever, he could, he's got so many strikes that could line up against him. The one he did probably doesn't matter, but he's still like putting his foot in hot water, even though he's trying to send the point. Because again, nothing gets erased on the internet.
He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care.
Yeah, this is true.
Rich.
But again, these guys all have, and gals have enough money that if they're invested at all wisely, they're done. They don't need to do anything again. Because remember, he took a bunch of Facebook money, right? Toast did. So, and then came back.
These people could take 3 months of their Twitch earnings, invest it at 5% dividend stocks, the boring ones, and be fucking retired.
Yeah.
Like they would get paid 65 to 80 grand a year just out of their fucking dividends. You know what I mean? These people have financial managers, right? They don't give a shit. They're fucking chilling.
Yep.
It's all extra money. I guess they're trying. I don't know whether they're trying to prove a point. Who cares? They're doing it. We're talking about it. That's the fucking cycle continues, my guy. The fucking world keeps turning. But
congrats, Toast, on that.
We need to stay on. Yeah, talking about the Twitch YouTube dichotomy. Recently, one of the more unscrupulous characters, inhabiting the fucking YouTube sphere, made his way over to Twitch and got partnered because someone obviously fell asleep at the wheel. And it resulted in quite the interesting clash. So the graphic here depicts, Pokimane and Ninja going at it, but it didn't start with these two. It started by one fucking piece of work by the name of Jidion, who comes over from YouTube. I guess he has a brand that appeals to some denominator of our population. I don't want to make too many assumptions about those people, but I don't hold them in very high regard as a result of who they follow as a streamer. Old mate comes along and does the exact thing that Twitch has been hyper vigilant about preventing lately, Mr. Scoots, a fucking hate raid on the queen of Twitch.
Yeah. So,
whose chat is this, Scott?
Yeah, so this is Pokey's chat. She's streaming the other night, playing video, Valorant with some friends.
Valorant,
And he hate raids from his channel while he's still live. So not like the technical raid where you turn your channel off and you're done and you push everybody, but more of a, hey, go L plus ratio her, sends his army to her chat. This all starts happening. They start whispering her. They start whispering her fans and stuff. And she basically just says, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night, folks. I'm used to dealing with hate, but I'm hearing you guys are getting messaged, and that's not cool. So I'm just going to call it a night. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. And she just kind of ends her stream, right? Kind of just like that. And then, but the story continues, right? Jidion is still alive, still streaming. But obviously, when she goes offline, the jig is up that she's aware of the raid. She's not happy about the raid. And it seems like he maybe gets a little nervous and ends up in Ninja's channel, right? Which then it gets even crazier. So we've got a video. He goes over to Ninja's channel and he gifts him 100 subs. And we want to show this interaction between the two kind of overlaid channels, Jidion and Ninja.
I just dropped another bag on your ass. Dollars is what I need.
Okay.
Dollars.
Don't worry, there was nothing in there, bro. Don't worry about it.
Dollars is what I
This
need.
man's insane, dude.
I love you,
Hey, Gideon, man,
Ninja.
I'm gonna chug the rest of this little wine that I have left, my guy.
Winja. Fuck
In
with
the
you.
future,
Okay.
nothing negative. No
Okay.
L's. Don't spam your chat to raid someone and spam L's. Don't rate. If you're gonna
All right.
ratio bitches, and that's not, you stick to Twitter. All right, maybe some
Okay.
TikTok L spam. You'll get away with it.
Hey, say less,
You can apply on
Ninja.
Twitch, dude.
Say less, Ninja.
Oh, you didn't call her that. He didn't call her
No,
that.
no, I said me. Me. It was me. That was my. I meant bitches in general, as in like you guys. Like you're my boy, my bitches.
Ninja. Now tuck that shit, Ninja.
You get what I'm trying to say.
I feel you.
Don't fucking turn me. Don't get me banned. Don't get me banned. Like twisting my words and shit.
I got you, Ninja. I got you, Ninja.
So
If you watch this person, if you unironically watch this Jidion guy, all you have between your fucking ears is a fucking hamster hopped up on Adderall running on a wheel. That's it. You literally have shit for brains. What is like I have nothing good to say about any of this interaction, Scott. But why don't you start us off while I just take some deep fucking breaths?
yeah, so obviously Ninja, like, that's a big oopsie, like, and obviously he called Pokey a bitch. There's no other way that you logically don't line up that's kind of what he's relating to. What the clip doesn't show is basically right before, somewhere along the way, Jidion is asking Ninja for advice about, this is what I did, L plus ratio, and Ninja is responding to that. Don't do that. He basically says, don't L plus ratio bitches on Twitter. I'm sorry, on Twitch. Do it on Twitter. Then catches himself realizing that he just called Pokey a bitch by using that word. And, we're all bitches, right? You're all bitches. You're my bitches. You're my bitch, Mitch. I mean, obviously, foot in mouth moment.
Yeah, sure,
foot in mouth moment, for sure.
Pokey points this out, right? Do you reckon? I mean, maybe Ninja would have. I don't watch enough of Mr. Blevins' vaunted content to really be able to make the assertion here. But if he were referring to a male streamer, do you think he would have used that word? Just out of curiosity.
No. And at this point, there's just no way. Like, again, he was trying to cover his ass. We all put our foot in our mouth. He did it big. That's only the start of
DEFCON 1. The alarms are going.
But this could still be resolved at this point. It could still have been easily resolved,
Sure.
right? But it keeps going. This is always what it does. It keeps fucking going. So Pokey wakes up the next day, finds out that Jidion has been banned, and then decides to start talking about Ninja's stream and what she's putting together between, what we just basically saw. She starts looking at clips of all this shit. And basically, like, he did what? So let's go ahead and show Pokey's kind of breakdown of some of this stuff from her perspective.
You can't run around raiding bitches on Twitch. Which Jidion obviously immediately takes as Ninja calling me a bitch. And Ninja then says he meant bitches generally. I wonder if Ninja would have said bitches if it was a large male streamer that was hate rated, but I digress. Ninja then keeps joking about it and says that Jidion is fucked, but that he will do whatever he can to help him, but don't expect too much. He then says, like verbatim, the most I can do is text my Twitch representative about this. And then he proceeds to do just that. Why Ninja would help someone evade a ban for harassing me, I have no idea. I genuinely don't know.
He's a legend, bro. All right. I sent the text. I don't promise a goddamn thing. Because at the end of the day, what happened.
And mind you, after this, she literally said, she was like, as I previously mentioned, Tyler never said he would get him a lesser ban and never texted a Twitch representative. And then she was like, you can try to confirm this with Twitch. I'm like, I don't need to confirm anything with Twitch. I literally have the VOD right here.
And then, to cap it off, Ninja, while she's streaming, tweets this to her. And I think the big point on this is, I swear on my grandfather's life, who just passed away, that I didn't text my Twitch rep. And you are making a big mistake. I had to get that printed out for me. So lots to break down here. The second part of Tyler talking Ninja, it looks like he has texted a Twitch rep. At that point, Jidion has been banned, right? So he's like, hey, can you help me? And he absolutely could be doing the old, oh, yeah, texting my Twitch rep. Yep. Right now, and didn't do a goddamn thing. And that's probably more than likely what he actually did do. He's probably not going to help some rando stranger that gave him 100 subs, because that's not a lot to Ninja. But on paper, in the sense of on camera, 4K view, sure looks like he's trying to help the guy out, right?
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't. Okay, so and Pokey acknowledges this. She's like, all right, Ninja denies that he was messaging his Twitch person, and no one can prove that, so that's fine. But the fact that I can honestly, he definitely is clear he felt pressured. He felt pressured. It's so funny because this guy is such a big streamer, and this Jidion guy, I assume, is quite the minnow by comparison. But Ninja still felt pressured to at least pantomime that he was trying to help the guy out.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the guy threw 100 subs at you, so fair enough. But yeah. I don't blame Pokey for thinking that that's what he did. When Ninja he expressly attempted to imply that he was doing just that. Now, you can turn around and deny it. That's all well and good. But it's not wrong of Pokey to say he could well have done that. It looks like he was doing that. He said he was doing that. And even with the clips getting deleted and stuff, which they were, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't really... Also, why are you swearing on the life of... Are you swearing on someone's grave? I don't really understand that. Also, why do you need to? I don't know. Ninja's just a bit weird. He's just a bit of a weird guy. Like, okay, are you adding in the fact that your grandparent just died to get a bit of extra sympathy, or I don't really understand that behavior.
But that
and
breaks
telling someone they're making a big mistake.
But you can't. The whole idea of that saying is that you're wagering something of value, and it's so value. It's your mother's life. It's your wife's life. It's your kid's
and
wife.
She's alive.
They're
and you don't
alive
want her to die
still.
while you're waiting. Yeah.
Like,
so the guy's just a bit of a dumb cunt.
Yeah. So I think, and again, like where this all would have gone away if this message would have said, "I swear on even if he screws this up, I swear on my grandfather's life, who just passed away, that I didn't text my Twitch rep. I was bullshitting to calm those viewers down. I was playing along." He adds 5 more words. She's done. She's like, I get it. Whatever. We've all done that. But they doubled down. They kept going, right? Because we're not done. We're not fucking done. So where it gets even crazier is Jessica gets involved, Jessica Blevins, Ninja's wife, but also his manager, so business and personal relationship. And again, Pokey's had fucking enough. She's sharing all this live as it fucking happens, right? So Jessica then gets into her DMs and basically gets really legal on her. You start throwing out words like defamation of character and legal team involved, calling Pokey a liar. Pokey's explaining and discussing what we all can see in 4K. Again, if he didn't actually message his Twitch rep, that is not even really the case, right? And even Jessica, in her response to Pokey, doesn't at least say, hey, he was fucking faking it. Neither of them have admitted to at least faking reaching out to the Twitch rep. They just keep saying we didn't do it. Well, then what were you fucking, just admit you faked it. So one or the other, right?
But that's not the point. That's not even the issue here.
Well, no,
I had to go through the anthropological odyssey, which was looking at all the fucking clips from this entire situation. Not one did I see Pokey say something that was not factual based on evidence that we had readily available to us, like fucking screenshots, like clips of things on Twitch. It is not defamation of character or anything for Pokey to say Ninja texted his Twitch rep when Ninja expressly said on stream that he did that. Even if that was a lie, which is fine, can't really prove that otherwise. It's not defamation to say that
Absolutely
that is
not.
exactly what he was doing.
Yep.
And then Jessica somehow is able to project onto Pokey that she's the one that's out of her mind because she should know better than for Ninja to have done that. But motherfucker, she doesn't fucking know. She doesn't know. Ninja has a history of gamer moments. Pokey fucking does too. They all do.
They all do.
Like,
yeah.
Why are we lawyering up all of a sudden? Like, nothing that Pokey said about Ninja is verifiably false. In fact, it's all verifiably factual because she's showing the fucking receipts. Like, that's not fabricated, mate.
Yeah.
So why are you adding fuel to the fire now? And the only thing that Pokey was really pissed off about, I would say, probably the use of the word bitches. She can probably accept that he didn't text his Twitch rep, although she might be a little bit miffed that Ninja was implying that he was. This could all have gone away. It could have just gone away so quickly.
Yes.
If we didn't have to go to DEFCON 1 in the fucking Blevins camp. What is wrong with these people?
Yeah. Well, and again, big topic of discussions, hate raids, all these kind of things. Twitch making their policy off platform as well, right? Jidion went from a 14-day ban to a permanent ban because he did shit like...
Get rid of him.
Because he changed his Twitter profile to an old picture of her. Like, he kept going that day, right? He was on a train. So, and he even tweeted...
It was an old picture of her.
Yeah.
It was one without makeup that's been shown before in an attempt to try and shame her. And on that same fucking Twitter account, this dickhead is saying, oh, everybody's having a go at me about being misogynistic. Oh, I want to talk to a feminist for a video. For some video content.
I want to make content.
Let me read it out.
Yeah.
Multiple prominent people have accused me of being a misogynist. I need a feminist/expert in this field to sit down and have a one-on-one and help reform me so I can become a better person. All I want to do is grow as a person. Then I think this is after the shit that he did. But like the guy, this is why you don't look up to Twitch streamers, right? This guy is frankly a child. He's a fucking child. And you're giving him a bunch of money and attention and love, and you're all just absorbing these ridiculous tendencies. And we fucking wonder, Scott, we wonder why there's still so much sexism in the fucking gaming industry. Why this shit still happens. This is why. Because your paragons of virtue are these fucking shit stains like Jidion. That's who people are taking cues from. These fucking Zoomers, man. It's unreal. So yeah, get him off Twitch. I mean, Jesus Christ. I know he's going to go to YouTube now, and let that be as it will be. I would be happier. My life would be more fulfilling if I didn't have to accidentally catch any of this content.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And, to give him his due as well, because we've talked about everybody else, because it all started with him that night. He did tweet an apology. We will show it. He basically, I did some corny shit. Pokey, I apologize. And boys, I'm dropping it. So I'm asking you guys to as well. So basically telling his fan base, we're done. And I'll see you on YouTube next week. Peace, love, respect, hearts, Vansili, 2022. So he'll show up with more viewers, and his viewers now love him even more now because this was a funny thing for them, and free Jidion. Yeah, and again, like it does go back to Ninja, regardless of the foot in mouth on the bitches, regardless of afterwards, what the fuck is he doing, even supporting in any way, shape, or form some sort of raid like that? he knows
Well,
better.
I guess he's not supporting it. He's not, because he said to the guy, don't do that. Like, if you're gonna be an ass,
Okay,
you're gonna try and
fair
ratio
enough,
someone,
fair
like do it on Twitter.
Fair enough.
You know, so
Fair
and
enough.
like because he fucking knows. He's like a deer in the headlights there. He knows what Jidion did is not good. Like, you cannot do that shit. This is the ninja who was pretty out there and had to sort of smooth the rough edges on his brand a lot to appeal to a certain audience, and then decided that he wanted to sort of go the other way. But then, like, I don't like, why do we have to see cryptic tweets from Ninja like all will be explained and nothing else said like that? Like, I look at his Twitter, man, and I'm just like, no, how hard is it just to take accountability? I'm like, sorry, look, I shouldn't have used the word bitches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry about
yeah,
that.
I
Not
guess
reasonable to say.
Yeah.
And follow it up with like, listen, I didn't actually text my Twitch partner. I was sort of just trying to be polite. And okay, that might be, you know, I would be maybe a little bit miffed, but this would all have just gone away. Like, why does he need Jessica to step in and do, I don't know how their relationship works. Like, I guess she's his manager and stuff like that. But this is Pokey has not agreed to keep that correspondence to herself. So you are really exposing yourself to having that shared publicly, especially if what you're doing is unreasonable. Here's what I want to know, Scott. How would you feel if this was your representative team? How would you feel if these two were your lawyers? Would you be getting out of the slammer or not? Fucking roll the image, Jason.
Yeah,
roll this shit.
I mean, I would be. I mean, look at that legal team. Obviously, model. I mean, you know, on the cover of like, you know, Attorney Weekly for one, but certainly, I'm a little nervous. Right? I think they're going to look really good in court, but I think I'm fucked. You know, she's not fucked. Obviously, her case is like, she's obviously fine. There is no defamation case here whatsoever.
Pokey represent me.
Yeah.
The problem is that Ludwig has open jacket, no tie.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
My brother's a lawyer, and apparently they're really funny about these things.
Interesting.
Like,
See,
it's you know how much like we spend on, like, I don't know, I spend a lot on microtransactions in games, and just, you know, that's where my expenditure comes from. Yeah, lawyers, it's all fucking cufflinks and shirts and jackets, like they go to the nine. So maybe, you know, we could gussy up just a touch more, but I'd let them represent me in a minor misdemeanor charge, maybe. Yeah.
Just think if
like,
you could,
you know,
just think if you could take your cufflinks into any game, you know, any game on the blockchain.
Scott,
you know?
I will fucking reach through this TV, I swear to God. All right, you motherfuckers. We're going to be back after the break here. We've got much more to talk about. We're going to discuss, obviously, the news with Microsoft acquiring or potentially acquiring Activision Blizzard. We'll talk a little bit of Counter-Strike. We'll get your questions after the break. Don't go anywhere. This is The Breakdown. Welcome back, everybody, to The Breakdown here for the 19th of January. I'm Mitch Leslie here, joined by Sir Scoots. And again, we had a lot to talk about because our rumor mill's been fueled by drama on Twitch and YouTube and generally just content creators behaving strangely, if not poorly. Let's move along to more rich people. These ones, though, a little bit less, I don't know, endemic to the space. Microsoft have announced, or it has been announced rather, Scott, that Microsoft will be acquiring Activision Blizzard. Obviously, you know, the developer of Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, for a noted $68.7 billion. This is, I think, the biggest acquisition in the sort of gaming tech space. And honestly, one of the biggest acquisitions of companies that we have seen. It's definitely up there. We're talking almost $70 billion.
Yeah, and kind of out of left field, this wasn't a rumor that was swirling around that even they were kind of for sale, let alone that Microsoft was going to swoop in. Obviously, Microsoft has gaming products, Xbox, they do care about the space. They've dabbled for years in and out of the gaming space. I still remember my Microsoft Sidewinder products when they actually made peripherals a long time ago. So that was a big shocker yesterday to wake up to see this like being real. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is there's a whole lot of regulatory shit that has to happen for this to get approved, but it's heading towards happening. So they haven't bought them yet. You know, keys haven't been turned over, all those kind of things. This kind of acquisition, not even a merger, takes time. But crazy news. You work for Activision Blizzard, so like personal thoughts right away?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm on a contract with Activision Blizzard. Personal thoughts are, I think, honestly, like the value of the merger is a bit high, or the value of the acquisition is pretty high, to be honest with you. The stock price got kind of fucking, you know, crushed under okay, I need to talk about this.
Yeah, you do.
Bobby Kotick goes on record saying that the fucking stock price of Activision Blizzard went down because of Overwatch and Diablo not being pushed out on time, as opposed to, I don't know, the turmoil at the company because of all the sexual fucking harassment allegations and him literally threatening to kill an assistant of his, blaming the loss of stock price on people just not getting games out quick enough, where because games weren't coming out quick enough because of the fucking turmoil you created at a company that you can't fucking run, cunt. You piece of shit. But anyway, so it went for $95 a share, which is it was slightly lower than Morningstar's sort of valuation at the time of like 97 a share. At the time, it was like, what? I think it was going for like 68 a share. So obviously this caused the stock price to just fucking to shoot up here. Obviously huge amount here. And now Activision Blizzard will report to Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming, right? So now like there's change the organizational structure. And interestingly enough, this does mean that, Bobby Kotick wouldn't be running the show anymore. It's also sort of, it's been mentioned that he's unlikely to stay on after 2023. Everyone's hoping that. Bobby knows he's universally hated by all of his consumers. And yeah, the reports are that he'll leave. Now, the acquisition won't close until 2023. That's at the earliest. There's a good chance that there's investigations here by the DOJ and antitrust lawmakers because of maybe a concern about a monopoly in the space. It's kind of hard to quantify what monopoly would entail here. They'll probably look at the acquisition value of, like the combined value, I guess, of Microsoft and Activision, but that doesn't really say much about their operating capacity in the gaming space, because you put them on a list. Like, I think Activision Blizzard's like top 7, I think, a company in the space, but like, it's hard to argue that like, Google and their partnerships with like Epic doesn't constitute like a pretty strong majority / monopoly situation there. So I'm very interested, Scott, in how sort of DOJ are going to sort of investigate this, or whether they'll really understand whether or not this can constitute a monopoly. You want to know how many game studios are under Microsoft? Like
just a few. 20
to 30, I think. So here's the big ones. Right, Xbox Game Studios, Activision Blizzard, King. Right, remember King's a mobile game maker. They make, is it Candy Crush? Right, Activision obviously with Call of Duty, a bunch of other things, and under them obviously you've got Treyarch, Raven, Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward. These are all on the Call of Duty side as well. Like Activision obviously has studios that work for them, and then you've got all the fucking Microsoft ones. So this represents. I mean, remember that Bethesda, ZeniMax, id Software, all also under this. Rare as well. 343, of course. So it is a huge portfolio of studios there. So I think they'd still be behind Tencent. They'd still be behind Sony, as Cryptic is pointing out in the chat. But it is a huge merge, and it definitely puts it shoots them sort of up the list here. So as an employee, I guess, or as a contractor, I guess, for Activision Blizzard, I don't know how much is materially going to change, especially in the short term. Hopefully, it takes the burden off Activision specifically to feel like all their games have to make a fuck ton of money, because it's this Activision, this Bobby Kotick driven mindset that forced people like Jeff Kaplan away from the Overwatch franchise, away from the company. And it's, I think, what causes them to produce a dog shit Call of Duty game every single year. It fucking sucks. Last week we talked about how the pros are saying it's just unplayable. Like it's not conducive to a strong competitive scene. Maven even tweeted yesterday he doesn't know if he'll be involved with the CDL because that's just a whole shit show. Like, maybe this will take the burden off Activision Blizzard and give them a bit more runway and let them put more care, polish, and sort of, more of that sheen into their games. Like, I hope we're going to get with Overwatch 2 whenever the fuck that comes out. So, I don't know. Nothing. The problem is, I don't know how much will change. Bobby might leave, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think a lot of employees are mad, Scott, because this is the best case scenario for someone like Bobby Kotick. I think it's possibly the best case scenario for him. This motherfucker, like, he's not getting fired. His board of directors can't eject him, or won't rather, because the vast majority of the board are happy with his ability to turn profit for them, and only a small activist investor group is really calling for him to be dragged out. The rest like their fucking money too much. But this guy stands to make a huge amount of money.
Yeah, golden parachute isn't even the right word, because gold isn't a strong enough word for what this guy's going to make, no matter what. So these are his package options, and when he leaves that company, the variety of things that can happen. Obviously, the left-hand side tells you what the option is, what the payment is. Salaries, all different things are accumulated there, and then obviously the up top tells you how he gets let go, whether with cause, without cause, he dies, disability, etc. So obviously, the least he can make is option 3, if you will, $264,000. I don't know. I'm a betting man. I'm going to say that ain't going to happen. And probably the one to the far right.
He has to be terminated for cause. And that would require, I guess, like what, a supermajority of his board to call for his removal.
That would have happened already.
So I don't think that's happened.
That would have happened already, right? In the turmoil of all of this, that would have happened already. Ain't going to happen. So he's going to end up with the one on the far right, probably.
Yes, the last column. It'll be termination by employee for good reason following a change of control, I assume, or by ATVI.
Yep.
How much is that? Read that number to me. I don't even think I've seen a number that big in my whole life. I'll be honest with you.
$292,970,340, almost $300 million. Almost $300 million and 27 cents.
Okay.
Or whatever. Is it really 27?
Well,
holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? This is late stage capitalism, I guess. So that's why I think the sentiment from employees at Activision Blizzard is so split, because on one hand they're like, God, we're going to be finally free of this useless sack of fucking whatever, but he's also getting out in the best case scenario and getting a fat severance. The only consolation we have is that he just will hopefully not be in the space. But these people. I mean, rich people don't lose. They just don't lose.
Well, and this even leans into, this is an ongoing narrative with American companies and CEO price, their pay versus the companies they run, and everybody else's pay is so top heavy. And these kind of packages are so fucking top heavy. It can cripple a company if a CEO leaves sometimes because of the stupid deals they make to get these superstar CEOs. So, yeah, I mean, again, as we talked about, again, he's a rich fuck no matter what, right? Like, even if he gets option 3, even if he got nothing, even if he went, you know what, it's all yours, here's the keys, Microsoft, I'm out. He's fine. Right now, he's fine. He's set for life.
Purely from my perspective, I know that Bobby advocated for the Overwatch League to exist, so hopefully that his replacement does that, because it's something that I personally believe in as well. I'm sure me and Bobby believe in it for completely different reasons. I don't give a fuck really about how much money the league makes. Just that people want to be a part of it.
Fuck
the fans, the
fuck
orgs,
you, Jason.
The production
Sorry,
stuff. So
I just told Jason to fuck off because he just told me that Bobby's worth $870 million right now.
Cool.
So wait, so if this happens, he'll almost double, 50% and 30 some odd percent more as well. Oh, fuck. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, and this guy is, I
don't know where to go. I got nowhere to go.
I know, but I don't know. From my perspective, you just can't let it bother you. Money's everywhere. Whatever, man. You know what? Put it this way. I mean, the Federal Reserve's printing so many dollar dues right now that, I mean, the inflation's going to happen. All of our wealth's going to get expropriated anyway. So, it won't be that much in the fucking grand scheme of things.
Let's talk a little bit about the actual deal, though. Why is Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard? Besides, it might be a decent price, and where do you see the reasoning? Why are they doing this?
Okay, I don't agree. I don't see the sheen in it, but it's been thrown around, and I tend to agree that they're making a bid on this whole metaverse idea.
Okay,
this whole concept of these interconnected worlds, in 3D. You know what I mean? We saw that Facebook literally changed their name to try and be the metaverse. We talked about it last week, right? Like, every shit NFT project has tried to develop their garbage little metaverse in Unity or something like that, where everyone looks like Minecraft characters. So yeah, I think the expectation is that seems to be the buzz right now, is that they want to position themselves to own a game development company to leverage those resources to create their metaverse, I suppose, or something like that. That's what I think. They're going to try and do. I don't know what that's supposed to look like. Really don't. I mean, I use virtual reality. Right? I have a VR headset. I play Beat Saber on that shit. It's fucking fire, but I don't move around.
Yeah.
I hit the blocks when they come my way. But it's been theorized that like things like this are going to be used to help people tie into the metaverse, where it's like a virtual rather manifestation of the physical. But that's for people, I guess, who crave that escapism. I just want to escape from my house, Scott. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Why give me a metaverse? I just want to go touch some fucking grass. You know what I mean? I'm fucking stuck inside. I mean, it's the bullshit.
Walmart.
Yeah, you see this. This is like a simulation, I guess, of what it might be like to. Real good way to take the glamour away from an awesome virtual reality experience. Instead of fighting monsters, killing zombies, generally just escaping the human condition and being something more, you get to go shopping in a Walmart. I'm sorry, I
with Master
I
Chief
don't
now.
get this at all.
Now you would have Master Chief involved. He could maybe push the cart for you.
That's true. Yeah, Clippy would be like, "Oh, it looks like you forgot to take your receipt." Ha ha ha. Great. Why? Like, why is this? So here's another. And I think this bred the conversation. Why is this necessary? Maybe people are preparing for a world where like the air is so toxic that you can't go outside, and that all of our stuff is going to have to be delivered to us by like a bunch of chutes, and you would go shopping like this. But why can't I just go to Instacart and just like pick things, click that I want them, and then get them delivered? Why do I have to physically grab a bottle of wine off a shelf? Like, what are we? Yeah. How is this enhancing my life?
Cryptic brings it up in chat. It's like, to me, it's like all these corpos. It's the corpoverse. I want to get that going. Corpoverse, not metaverse. It seems like they all read Ready Player One, lost their minds over that Pulp Fiction crappy little book. Oh my God, Pac-Man! I remember Pac-Man. Then they saw the movie, went, holy fuck, we can do this. We can put the poor people in the stacks. Yes, like this shit ain't gonna happen like this. Them throwing out the metaverse word is just like, no, don't do that. I think there are some cool things that come out of this though.
Why do we want to recreate the drudgery and mundanity of everyday life in virtual reality? You know what I mean? At least give me some fucking anime titties. Why do I have to walk in a fucking Walmart? Like, that's the kind of shit I'm trying to get away from. I'm trying to get away from this shit. You know what I mean? Why are we doing this? We don't need this. Yeah. This is a waste of resources. Give me something else. Give me fucking Chica Fujiwara dancing nonstop. Why? I don't get it, man.
Now, there are a couple cool things. This could be the end of Battle Client, BattleNet, as we know. All these games could end up in the Microsoft game. What's the service you can buy? Game Pass.
Game Pass.
They pushed that heavy. That was part of it. They wanted to push all this stuff into the Game Pass offerings. So again, that could be the end of the BattleNet client, which would make sense. And I was reading an article that probably a big pitch of this, because, again, we talked about mobile and me not knowing anything and caring about it. We got a mobile story coming up. But that a big part of this might have been getting the King part of Activision Blizzard King for the mobile domination that set of publishers has, right? Because they don't have shit in mobile gaming yet, Microsoft yet, right? But they're all over everything else. So that's
yeah, I mean, I think that is fair. Who purchased Zynga? That's what I want to know. Who owns Zynga? Because, hold on,
that just got bought
Interactive
a couple years ago, right?
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, Farmville really started this.
Yep.
Farmville was a Facebook game. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And
Take-Two
I think
bought Zynga.
Zynga got bought for $12.7 billion. And I think that's a deal that's going to close early next year. So, I mean, I suppose that could be what they're going for. Yep. I think King is a very valuable asset. Candy Crush is. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Like, I think King's revenue has funded a lot of the projects on the Blizzard side that, especially under the Morhaime paradigm, weren't exactly geared to make a ton of money in and of themselves. That was much more of a Kotick and Activision approach. Hearthstone funded World of Warcraft, my understanding, or at least subsequent expansions of it. A good example of that. So, Kotick was always fighting for more microtransaction dense experiences in a lot of Blizzard's main franchises, and this is the mindset that caused a lot of friction between him and a lot of the senior developers at Blizzard, at Overwatch. So Yeah, I'm interested to see what comes of this and what they do with King as well. I play mobile games, but just like one at a time. I don't play Candy Crush. It's far too normie. You know what I mean? So I don't know too much about that. That might be true, but it's just not a world I delve into too much. I play Brawl Stars, the Supercell game, but
Yes.
I'm not really across all of them. You know?
All right, fair enough. Well, again, we'll keep an eye on it. I imagine it'll go through unless some serious red flags come through with the regulatory departments. But I imagine this deal in some way, shape, or form is going to close similar to those numbers on that timeline, what they said, 2023. So sometime next year. So, yeah, be interesting. Because obviously, the esports is all swirling about what does that mean? And we didn't talk about Overwatch or CDL, but what does that mean for those properties? MLG technically is still a property owned by Activision Blizzard. They're now falling under, even though no one really works there anymore, so to speak. All those people have their own company called Esports Engine. They're already hired by Microsoft right now to run the Halo tournaments. So, in a weird way, is Microsoft going to hire ex-MLG people to run? Like, it's just kind of, it might be full circle for Adam and those guys to get back into some of these games in a whole weird way because they're being hired to be what they used to do. Big open tournaments like Halo, right? It's doing big open tournaments, whereas Call of Duty went the opposite. Just put everybody up here. So it'd be very interesting, what happens with the MLG guys? Because I don't think MLG as a company really does anything anymore. I think that's vaporware. On the Activision Blizzard ownership side, those guys are all at Esports Engine running a company.
Yeah,
so
it's just the player.
Yeah,
it's just the player, the software, and maybe some of the tech and engineering guys. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, we'll see what goes on there. If the rumors are true about how Blizzard are trying to run their esports products, I don't know how many of those MLG guys will sort of remain after the fact. But here you go, Scott. I mean, see, obviously our show creates so much traction, creates so many ripples in the metaverse, so to speak, that when we sat down and we discussed the top esports games of the year in terms of viewership, and we saw just how popular Free Fire was, PUBG saw that segment of the show because obviously everybody else did, and they went to fucking town on them.
They were not happy.
We just found out that Krafton, who is the maker of PUBG, is suing Apple, Google, and Garena over the game Free Fire for copyright infringement. In theory, we talked about Free Fire recently, Scott. Most watched esports tournament of the year. Free Fire really popular in like Latin America and sort of Asia as a mobile PUBG analog clone ripoff. What do you want to call it? I don't know, but look at this: 5.41 million. This is excluding Chinese sort of number fluffing as well. So by far the most watched esports tournament of last year.
By far. And then right below it, you've got some PUBG stuff as well. And I remember when we talked about this segment, I'm like, what the hell is Free Fire? And you basically said it's a PUBG ripoff. It is. It's a clone, ripoff, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, oh, shit.
What's a battle royale adaptation, right? That genre is so fucking just thick with different renditions, I think, of the theme.
And again, we talked about mobile in this last segment. So obviously the mobile games blowing up, huge numbers, and Krafton, which obviously used to be Bluehole, was the originator of PUBG. Right now, bought by Krafton a couple years, whenever that happened. But them and it's interesting, not only going after the developer, but going after the platforms where the developer is hosting the Free Fire, right? So going after distro and creation, right?
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. And they do look very, very similar. I probably don't know if I could tell them apart. I think Jason has prepped us. Jason wouldn't show us. Jason is my co-owner of the company, managing director, producing the show for us backstage. He's got a test for us. He's going to make us watch a version of one of these games mobile, and we have to pick which game it is. We have not seen the footage. And I've never even seen either game on mobile, actually. I used to play PUBG on PC, but not mobile. So, Mitch, we got to figure this out. So, have you played either on mobile? Because obviously interfaces, right?
God, no.
Okay.
I haven't even played PUBG on the PC. I actually just personally don't enjoy battle royales. Like, the genre doesn't appeal to me.
Fair enough.
I think
PUBG.
I think this is PUBG. Yeah. The only reason why I say that is because there's no fucking ice walls being deployed, and the font as well. The font is that's PUBG, right? I swear to God.
Yes, it looks. I haven't played in years,
I'm
but
not
it
seeing
looks.
anything fantastical yet.
So Free Fire has. It looks like PUBG, but then also has fantastical elements.
Well, yeah, I saw someone hiding behind a fucking ice wall.
Ah, god damn it!
What?
We got wrecked. That is Free Fire we just
Was
watched.
Free Fire?
Well, because he didn't show you any of that. You know, he didn't show you any of the juice. So that was
Yeah,
Free Fire,
I guess,
folks. I don't know
okay,
if any
so-
of you guessed that at home. We should have maybe waited. I should have waited in prep chat to ask them, but that's Free Fire. It looked like what PUBG Mobile would have looked like for me, based on what PUBG looks like.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, right.
So this is stuff that is part of the lawsuit that they're the comparisons of stuff, right? Because that's what you do when you sue someone for something like this. You do all of this kind of stuff. This is ours. This is theirs. This is ours. This is theirs. This is ours. This is theirs. I don't know. It's looking
What?
like. Did you have to
Oh, it
build the
doesn't look good.
reactor the same? You know, like I don't like it looks like a fucking ripoff.
have you know those
right?
those trusses are industry standard constructions for nuclear coolant? All right.
Now, the only funny thing would
I don't
be if
know.
they
This
were
is
both
pretty
like
damning.
the only thing that would be funny if they were both like generic like mobile Unity assets that anyone could use. Like anyone could build that nuclear
Right.
reactor, right? Like you can buy stuff to put in your sets, right? So, but yeah, that is obviously more of a cosmetic nod to the theme and spirit of
But
PUBG.
is it ego? is it transformative, Scott? Is it fair use, mate? Do we need to get Disguised Toast in here to fucking explain to us the difference, maybe?
Yeah, they'll probably lose the lawsuit, I would think. But like again, they're using the frying pan and the chicken dinner and shit. So I don't know. I guess it depends on the judge and how unique a chicken
I can't
dinner
believe
is.
it took so long,
You know?
Scott.
Yeah, that is true too.
I mean, I just, and so who's the developer of this game? It's not Garena. Garena's a platform. All the people that are getting sued, Google, what was it? Google, Apple, Garena, they're just distributors.
But the tweet does say
who
and
the fuck
developer, but who
actually-
is the developer? Yeah.
Hold on, let's have a look. Free Fire. I'm using the power of the internet computer, my internet computer, here to find out. It's Garena. Oh, sorry, 111.studio
Okay.
is the one that made this game.
Interesting.
And oh dear. Yeah, okay. So Forrest Lee is the name of the individual who developed this game. So yeah, okay. I think Garena seems to be considered the owner of the right. So the game is called Garena Free Fire, by the way.
Oh.
And the developer of it is what. So I think Garena fucking owns this game.
Oh.
I mean, I guess it's always been. I mean, what did I have? I think I played Heroes of New Earth on Garena at some point. I think that was the only way I could get in servers or something like that. The publisher, yeah, not great, not a good look for them, to be honest. Considering that some of their, I'm looking at some of their marketing material, and it's called like literally just says "Awesome PUBG," now available on Android, iOS, Free Fire. They use the term "Awesome PUBG" in the actual image. So this is a game as well that has a lot of collabs with other titles. I think in Free Fire they had like an arcane weapon, or they might have been in PUBG actually. But they had like Assassin's Creed elements, like a crossover with this game in this March coming up. So
They're using the word PUBG to generically advertise that it's a type of game, awesome PUBG.
yeah, this is one of the images that I found. Again, like
Holy
I
shit.
don't know, like someone could have just made that. You know
'Cause,
what I
you
mean?
know,
It could be
that's,
like a YouTube thumbnail for someone.
Player Unknown's Battlegrounds. It's literally the name of that particular game. Like, holy shit. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Sid Meier's. It's like Sid Meier's Civilization, right?
Like, what are you
Same thing.
doing? Like, don't. No,
Anyway,
I swear we
look,
made it
so
up
I
on our
thought it
own.
was PUBG.
Yeah.
I've watched PUBG Esports, right? Because I'm trying to see if there are any good casters out there. I won't say any more on that topic, but I thought that Free Fire looked the same as PUBG. I thought it was the same thing. So I guess they got me. I don't know what a court's going to say about that one, but it could be quite a hefty settlement. But again, you're dealing with like you're handling across international boundaries here, so I think that could also be a bit of an issue. Anyway, it's a fucking ripoff. Let's not deny it. It is what it is. Let's see what happens.
Not the first time a game's been ripped off. Won't be the last. Our next little topic, kind of wrapping up and getting into a little bit of esports team news. Recently, Envy Gaming out of Dallas, Texas area, has announced that they've acquired the operating rights to a place you and I have both been to, Esports Stadium Arlington. And very, very interesting. Again, don't own it, didn't buy it, but they have the operating rights. Now, a little backstory to this, if you're not at all familiar with what this Esports Stadium Arlington is, City of Arlington had an old convention center. They built a new one, had an old one. A couple big ballrooms, an exhibition space, couple, meeting rooms, etc. And years ago, they decided to turn that facility into kind of a Expo and Esports Stadium in collaboration with a couple of the Overwatch teams that were down there, Hector's team and Hastro's team, because they were going to use this facility for all their home stands, right? So this has during a home stand, and it's really nice. It's a really big ballroom space, built-in stage, mapped out control rooms, boot camp rooms, kind of nicely reconditioned convention center as a purpose-built esports room. Lots of good production stuff behind the scenes. The only thing I didn't really like is they've pre-built this gigantic stage that is kind of limiting. If you want to rent it, you got to use the stage. It's hard to get good camera angles because everyone's up and far away.
The stage looks like it's built for Overwatch as well.
Yeah,
just the styling of
it.
Yep.
But again, really, really cool. And what brings it full circle is, again, not only was Envy involved in this in the beginning, but and now Optic and Envy are in a weird way together. Corey Dunn, who is an executive producer for Envy, and it goes way back with a lot of us in esports, used to do CPLs and worked for TSN, Caster, all sorts of stuff.
He's an OG.
Corey, and he helped open that place, helped design it and open it with Jonathan and a couple other people for the city of Arlington. Then it all went south during the pandemic. They all quit. Jonathan went to Nerd Street. Corey went to Envy. And now it's kind of full circle. Envy has taken back control of this thing that Corey helped kind of open up. And it's cool because it gives a team a place to do all their kind of showy match fun stuff for public. But they can also lean into that, do white label stuff, do non-Envy shit. They can just do arena venue shit.
What's the difference between owning it and having operating rights? Is there a material difference here?
Sure. Owning it would have cost them millions and millions of dollars because they would have had to buy the building from the city of Arlington. So Arlington still owns the facility, still has to maintain all that shit. It's like you renting out to do the Starbucks inside, right? So there's obviously a financial deal, and they've said that they're paying only $250,000 a year for the first 3 years, and then it gets more expensive for them. So, and obviously there's lots of nuances to these deals, but basically they probably get to walk in, get all the gear that's still there, take control of it. If they want more gear and they want to improve, that's probably on Envy as a tenant improvement. And then there's probably a rev share that anytime they operate, Arlington gets a piece of it and Envy gets a piece of it, right? And Envy probably gets a bigger chunk. And they have to pay Arlington, right? They're
what
the
are they
landlord.
gearing up for, Scott?
I mean,
why? So tell me this: why are you making this purchase now at this present juncture? What do you think they're gearing up for?
Okay, well, not a purchase. So only costing them $250.
Transaction.
Yeah,
excuse me.
I think they're planning on hoping that COVID gets better in Texas and they can host watch parties, big events, meet and greets. I can't tell you what Overwatch and CDL are doing in their next seasons, but maybe that leans into it. Maybe this is the kind of place that would host one of those CDL stops. I don't think they're doing the home and away things and all that shit has changed, but maybe it could be a stop on these events in Texas, right? And who knows? Yeah. I mean, what we've seen is all these teams have realized they need to be more than team owners. They need to be content creators. They need to come with show ideas. They need to be far more than just guys traveling around with jerseys on. So maybe they've got show ideas that are absolutely unrelated maybe to Envy or Optic. And also, much like us, you can white label us. You could hire us, Do Not Peek, and we'll white label your show. That venue is white labelable. The Esports Awards happens there every year. So Esports Awards pays Envy to produce that show for them, right?
Envy have to staff the venue though, obviously, which will require them, I don't know if they have all the staff on board to operate that facility yet, but they would just go straight to Corey Dunn. So the Optic Major. So this is a CDL. So here's one example of
There you go.
what they're doing with this place, right? It's pretty clear to see that, with Envy and Optic sort of making the merger, they're trying to, operate out of Arlington. It's fine. I mean, that's where the Envy sort of building is as well. This is great. Don't expect to see this from all of your favorite teams, because what I found in the Overwatch League is that teams like Envy always had the means, right? They could put all this shit on. But teams like Misfits, Outlaws, and other more frugal esports orgs were not really reasonably able to put together like a standalone, always like evergreen homestand venue.
Yep.
Which is why we ended up having teams collaborate on homestands and them like sharing a venue and sharing the cost of running the event, because it was clear that like the ownership groups involved in the Overwatch League didn't really have the resource. They hadn't made enough money from the league to like justify the expenditure of like a venue for a long period of time. So I like this because leases are very expensive. Leasing the space out even would cost a huge amount. So I'm sure Envy have a good deal with the city of Arlington. Yeah. They're very tight with them. And you're right, like obviously the Esports Awards, which is a show that really needs to get more polished and just knock out some of the kinks in terms of their shoddy production value. And I don't know who that wrestler. I love Corey, and I saw him at the event there, running about in the audience and doing his, whatever he was doing. But like, you can't deny that, like, I was behind the stage and I saw people just fucking running around like the hair was on fire. So,
yeah.
I hope it wasn't his crew running that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is great. This means that Envy have the money, right? They have the money to do this. This doesn't mean that every esports org does. But at least it means that maybe they will be able to put on big events without financially crippling themselves, and that's a good thing for fans, I think.
Yeah, and I think this is a pivot too. I visited Hastro several years ago. I was there for this exact venue for an SVG, a sports video group panel that Jason was speaking on, and when we were there, we wanted to go see Hastro's new facilities, and we wanted to go see Complexity's new facilities, right? Complexity had just moved into the Star in Frisco, and we were really excited to check that out. And so we went and saw everything, and we were talking to Mike Hastro, by the way, and at the time, he was like, don't tell anyone, this is top secret. So this was now, maybe almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, pre-pandemic, pre-all this, pre-Do Not Peak even really being open. But they were buying land in a different part of Texas. They were talking to a different part of the city of Texas, city of Dallas, I think. And he was going down this path of a venue, mixed use, and it wasn't Arlington. So obviously they shelved that, and it maybe because this opportunity became available, because he's always been thinking about this, right? That they, because obviously Dallas has a little special place in some people's hearts, because in some regards it's the home of old school, esports for a lot of us. The old CPLs were there.
Sure.
So probably saving himself millions and millions and millions of having to build out that facility that he was looking at a couple years ago, and just kind of wrapping his arms back around this other project. We'll see how it goes. I imagine if it's just a team in Dallas and it doesn't have a Corey, doesn't have the production chops behind it, that team doesn't get involved in this. I think a lot of this is guys going back to where they worked before. Because I imagine Corey might even have brought some other people with him to Envy from Arlington. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll see how the events pan out down there. It's a neat little facility.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think outwardly, I don't know how much is going to change there, but good on Envy. And it's a bullish indicator for the return of large scale events to esports, which is something that we've all been missing a lot. So
yeah,
they might have some information that we don't have about the roadmap in the future, but it's still, it is a reason to have some confidence if they're willing to make this investment.
And
again, even if they're not buying the fucking venue.
Yeah, and I'm working an interview with Hector, right? We're going to get Hector on the big TV here one of these weeks. He keeps going fishing and going to Chicago and stuff, because I really want to start interviewing people every couple weeks and getting, that insight. So I'm trying to line up Hector, because then we can ask him about this. I really want to know, like, what is this merger between Optic and Envy? What is that all about? He's into cannabis now. He's obviously got a lot of stuff to talk about CDL. So we're working on a Hector interview. Fingers crossed, everyone, that we can. He's very busy. All right, let's take some freaking questions, folks. We're at that time of the show that we're near the end. We take your questions every week. If you've got them, you might still be able to get them into Daniel in chat. Maybe, maybe not. We might be full up. let's go with our first question, shall we? What do we got? So is this new complexity CS roster the juggernaut they promised years ago? From Maple Tater. Ooh, Maple Tater. No. If you're not familiar, Jason Lake infamously tweeted that let's build a juggernaut, went after a whole bunch of fucking tier 1 players. And obviously COVID hit a lot of teams with the bravado, and it didn't work out. The juggernaut did not really get jugging. But what is actually really, really cool is they have settled on a new roster. It is a nice combination of the extra salt guys, a few other folks. Here is the full roster. You got JT and the coach coming from South Africa. They just played today. Unfortunately, they did lose to Gambit in that FunSpark Ultra tournament, but they took a map off Gambit, and JT had to play with 200 ping because he's working on his visa right now because obviously just switching teams. You have to switch all your paperwork and all that good stuff. But cool to see, again, as always, Complexity staying in Counter-Strike. They're an old OG team. Knew they were going to land on a roster. They are a Louvre team, so that means they have an agreement with ESL to play in the Pro League and do all those kind of things. So they weren't necessarily a question if they were going to come back to Counter-Strike. It was just them getting the roster settled. So they've done that. So that it's cool to see. Again, I don't think they're going to be a juggernaut. I think they'll have some success, but I'm always one with, like, you put together all these superstars and they don't materialize. You put together this ragtag group of kids that start bonding and fucking playing out of their minds, and they do well. So I like to say any given Sunday in Counter-Strike. I know it's fucking cliche, but, like, we'll see how they do, right? They gotta boot camp a lot. They gotta go play all the Euros a lot, and the Eastern Europeans, I should say, even in our game. So we'll see. Glad to see them playing, though. Next question.
Yeah, I mean, are they? Yeah, let's see. Some people are trying to be savers of NACS, Scott. So, we've had that bandied around a little bit here. I think people are just waiting to, I don't know, see some evidence of this actually, getting them out of their not so great position. All right, G2 NFT.
You see this today?
G2 NFTs. Are you buying? So, the context behind this, obviously, G2 Esports have announced their NFT Samurai Army NFT, and the idea is that it's creating a social club where you can gain exclusive access to rewards, G2 player meetups, apparel drops, experiences. So exactly what a fan club is. It's a fan club that has an NFT involved. So am I in? No, I'm not. I'm not buying this NFT. I'm not in. I personally don't really much care for esports team fan clubs. Maybe because I'd rub shoulders with these players all the time. I'm not really starstruck by them. You know what I mean? I don't know. So obviously, it's no surprise to see Carlos go this way because I think he idolizes Gary Vaynerchuk, for example. But I don't know, Scott. Are you buying?
I'm not buying. I don't have any. I don't think this would be my first. I like the idea of, again, back to teams doing whatever they can to, increase their revenue streams and super fan clubs. And, Liquid's got a super fan club going. And they've been around for a while. I mean, literally decades ago, SK had SK Insider. You paid them extra money. You got extra shit. You supported the team. So it's nothing new. I guess the new part would be the shift of how you pay for your subscription, NFTs or coins and those kind of things. We talked about the rally coins that a lot of creators are doing. So there's lots of different ways to kind of skin getting this extra revenue from your fans. And I mean, my hope would be that they, as always, with any of these, whether it's cash or, some sort of crypto, the fan gets their money's worth. Like, it doesn't matter if I think the fan got their money. It's up to that. If that kid gets his $5-10 worth, then that's a happy fan, right?
They haven't announced the price of their fucking NFT. So that's a problem already. It's on the Solana blockchain. So Solana as a blockchain network doesn't use any more, power than, Wikipedia does. It costs them out as a small web server a medium to large size web server to run. So it's not a problem. I think a lot of NFT haters are just moving the goalposts though. They're like, oh, well, it's good for the environment. Yeah, but this other thing. But the biggest issue that it boils down to is that, like, you could just have a subscription program.
Yeah.
You could just do what Cloud9 are doing with Stratus and let that be. Like, I don't think you get anything special from making this an NFT project outside of having a subscription. You are essentially making your fan club provably scarce by only printing a 6,262 NFTs in total, right? So your fan club is a limited size, which is obviously, why would you limit yourself like that? I guess they're hoping, of course, that there'll be sufficient demand that it will drive up the price of these NFTs on the secondary market, and they would make royalties from it. Why, if you're trying to create a fan club, would you be trying to generate revenue via royalties of the secondary sales of your fan club token, right? That's not the point of having a fan club. You're supposed to be off. I think that's the problem with it, right?
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, there's no environmental impact. They're basically that element. Like the only way it differs, I guess, there's a few ways it differs to a normal subscription, right? But there's that secondary market element, and I'm sure they're hoping to profit off of that. And that seems to be like the major difference between the two. And again, it's the same situation of like, why? Like, are you trying to make this work? It's hard for me to feel like this is any more special than anything else outside of you purposely making membership scarce to try and make it more prestigious. But I think that runs counter to the idea of being accessible to your fans. You know what I mean? I don't really get it. Yeah, and I can see why it seems greedy to people. But people who are there like, NFTs are a scam, and if anyone who doesn't agree is a scam artist or a dickhead, there is more nuance to be had in this conversation, but it's a terrible time. It is a terrible time to announce that your fan club is becoming tokenized in a non-fungible sense. Just probably don't do it. This coming from the guy who recently announced he was hosting a TV show with connections to a blockchain network, right? Like I knew when I announced it, I'm like, there are going to be a bunch of people that are upset about this, right? Because people, it has become ideological at this point. Like people just see blockchain and they just like someone literally commented on my tweet, like so soon after I posted it, that they kind of read what I was actually doing, and they just screenshot the word blockchain and then they just write nope. I'm like, okay, well, okay, that's fine. But you just made it very clear you're an ideologue and you've got no interest in actually understanding what I'm doing, so that's fine. Don't do this. This is bad. Yeah, I'm not buying a fucking. I'm not, and like I got signed up to the C9 Stratus fan club through my agency, so I got it for free. But merch is great. I honestly like the stuff that I get through there is really high value. It's not cheap, nasty stuff. It's like shoes and hoodies, and the designs are cool. And if I actually paid for it, I think I'd also feel satisfied. Obviously, I didn't pay, so so good luck to G2. Carlos tweets. He says, "Hey, we read you guys on this. We're hearing you're mad and you don't like this." They got ratioed by like fucking 2 follower accounts. Like that's how bad this was for them. They said the project's no more harmful to nature than this tweet. Provably true. But the tech allows us to think big about our dreams around community building. Big? The cunts are limiting the size of your community. You are actually putting a constraint on that by having a provably scarce token of entry. So what are you thinking big about? Your pockets? I don't understand how that makes sense. And then just time will tell if we're full of shit. So let's see. I look forward to seeing it. I'm not going to buy it because it's contradictory, I think, making this. You can make NFTs, by the way, and you can have them not be scarce. You know that? Now, they wouldn't be worth anything on the secondary market, but they'd still act as a token of membership, and then it would be accessible to everybody. But you want it to be scarce. You want it to be on the secondary market because you want to benefit from sales on the secondary market and the royalties that come from that. Otherwise, you wouldn't make it fucking scarce at all. I don't know.
Well, maybe they'll make the NFT part of it like Super Whales. So yeah, there's 6,000 of the minted unique samurais, but we can take 12,000 other members.
Well, they call that in the NFT world, they call that a Genesis collection. So you have a fucking a small amount of NFTs and then a bunch of NFTs that are cheaper and a tier lower, right? You have a tiered system, but the tier lower still has is still scarcity, right? These people are imposing scarcity on digital stuff, which is like which goes against the whole point of digitizing anything, right? That it's infinitely reproducible is kind of the selling point of things being digital. So
artificial scarcity.
I'll be honest, I've lost money learning these lessons, Scott, honestly, because I got interested in personal finance and wanted to understand what NFTs were supposed to do and how they could work, and then realized all these cunts just want to buy them and sell them to make a profit. Yeah. Like no one cares about what the NFT represents. They don't care about the art. They don't care about what it offers you. They care about how much you can make by flipping the thing.
It's the new house flipping.
Everyone Everyone thinks they're the first person to discover retail arbitrage, Scott, and flipping things. And they think they're so fucking smart making money off that. It's so annoying. Like, resale culture is just completely fucked, this whole, and I think it gives the blockchain a bad name, because I think that the blockchains that don't fuck the environment up are actually kind of promising. That remains to be seen, but yeah, that's how I feel. That's me going on record. So if any of you dickheads on Twitter be like, oh, that guy Uber, he's got NFTs, which is probably true. Now you know what my stance is on them, huh? Fuckers.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go sell my old CS skins because they've got value.
Yeah. Good luck getting fiat currency out of there, boomer.
You're right. No, I'll just buy a new game, man. That's fine. I'll keep it in the ecosystem because Valve loves me and they care about me as a gamer.
Yeah, Valve really cares about you individually and your esports scene, Scott.
No, they care. Yeah. Steam is my friend.
Any more questions?
I don't believe we have any more questions. Oh, we do have one more question. All right, here we go. Last question of the day. Impact on Blizzard internal toxicity, obviously due to the selling to Microsoft. Microsoft has a good record on diversity culture. Thank you for the question, DeRabbit Monkey.
No, they don't.
They don't.
Wrong.
Okay.
They don't. No, they don't have a good record. Just go and put a search in. Microsoft does not have a good record on this.
Okay.
Sorry. They just fucking, what? Because right now, none of their game development studios are being implicated in anything. This doesn't materially change anything at the employee level. Like, because here's the thing, guys. Bobby Kotick was a piece of shit, but you wouldn't have had such deep-seated toxicity if it was just Bobby Kotick, because that cunt is constantly on a fucking, holiday in the Caymans.
Yeah.
So there are people in his stead that are instituting this culture in the company on the ground level. It's got nothing to do with who fucking owns the company or what it's called. It's about getting these nasty fuckers out of the company, literally taking out the trash. Just changing the name on the plaque doesn't do anything. Like, guys, it doesn't do anything. You know what does stuff? Workers organizing, unionization, calling people out, lifting up the voices of those that are actually fucking being affected by this stuff. That's the stuff that makes a change. And that should feel liberating to you because you can participate in that. You can actively participate in that. But no, I don't think this is going to change anything personally. Oh, what do you reckon, Scott?
Probably not. I mean, I think in retrospect to what Activision Blizzard is currently going through, maybe Microsoft hasn't been dragged through that kind of mud, but you do have some definitely incidents over there. I think a bigger issue to keep an eye on, or an issue to keep an eye on, is you remember Activision Blizzard Alliance workers are actively trying to unionize over there, right? In AAA Studios, big conversation about unionizing studios.
Yeah, I think I don't know about if they're specifically forming a union. Obviously, they have made some demands, right?
Yeah,
they made a
the
large
worker
number
alliance,
of demands,
yeah,
and that included Bobby Kotick. And I mean, I guess so that is a de facto union in the sense that they're all negotiating as a block, or they're all making demands and they're on strike, right? I don't know if I think they're still on strike, right? So
yeah.
By the way, Karl Marx scares the shit out of me. So I'm not a fucking communist, but
Comrade
I
Mitch.
think it's very clear that workers collectively bargaining and it creates a better product for us, a better environment for them. It can only be a good thing. It's taking money out of rich fuckers' pockets, so I'm all about that.
Yeah. And hopefully, again, when they move over, whatever they're fighting, because they're fighting for that set of companies being all fucked up and being cleaned up. Hopefully, that doesn't all just get, oh no, don't worry, new boss in town. You worry. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'd like to see evidence of Microsoft having a provably great record of diversity and inclusion in the workplace culture outside of puff pieces written by random fucking, journalists. Because you know what? Here's the thing. People are like, Blizzard is so bad. Blizzard is so dog shit. They're so toxic. No one on the Overwatch team has had any problems. In fact, people on the Overwatch team, women have said that they have not had these issues, right? Okay, but there's a problem elsewhere, right? So what how do we decide on aggregate whether a company has a good record with toxicity? You know what I mean? Whether is it because the CEO of Microsoft isn't outed as a fucking loser? Okay, fine, sure. But like I just tried to explain, these people might help propagate it, but are really on the ground. Like I can have this fucking argument with you in Twitch chat about who has a better workplace culture, but it's just completely moot, because what metric are we measuring that on? You know what I mean? I have spoken to people who have worked for Microsoft and have said, and like I have literal friends that work at that fucking company, and two of them in different departments that have said the workplace culture leaves a bit to be desired.
that is as far as I'm going to go. So like we'll talk about what HR approaches. What do you mean their policies? The policies are the fucking same. Everyone has a fancy, nice looking human resources policy. It's whether or not it gets enacted every day for everybody. You know what I mean? In an inclusive fashion, not just for one group or whatever. So it's just it's banal. It's really an asinine topic to try and go back and forth on it. Says the contractor. Says the random Twitch chatter. Sorry, like how do I know what your vested interests are, mate? You know, take a hike.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. Again, I don't. They're all big, huge corporations run by lots of people in different divisions. So we'll see. Again, long time for that transfer to happen over. We'll see what happens with Activision Blizzard with that legality that's happening right now with them, because that might even be resolved by 2023. All right. Well, that
maybe. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
That will do it for this episode of The Breakdown. So thank you, as always, for joining us. Remember, every Tuesday, 12 o'clock Pacific, we do Valoranting. Mitch runs that show with Vancilli and Mitch Man, bringing you all the latest Valorant news from the competitive world of Valorant. And then we're back here every Wednesday, 12 noon Pacific, 1 o'clock our time, Arizona. See you next week.